Hey guys, it's Destiny, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about Seele, whatever you guys like to call her, since her banner did finally get confirmed on Twitter. So I wanted to talk about her banner and give you guys an overall banner review of all the characters on her banner. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So to begin, let's talk about Seele herself. What does she give to players, and is she worth it in the case of the banner overall? Seele is a character that is a high single target DPS, and she does a lot of damage to single targets. She's not able to attack multiple targets at once, however, due to how fast she is and how much damage she outputs, she's able to be really good in the case of fighting multiple enemies as well as fighting basically single targets. She will excel, of course, at fighting bosses and such. However, I think she'll be really good in both cases, since if there are minions on the field, those little enemies, she'll be able to wipe them out pretty quickly due to how much damage she does overall. She's a really strong DPS, as I've stated, and Resurgence helps her further. What Resurgence is basically that she's able to enter this buff state upon defeating an enemy with a basic attack, skill, or ultimate, and she receives an extra turn. When she's in her buff state, her damage of her attacks increases for a turn, and then enemies defeated in the extra turn provided by Resurgence will not trigger another Resurgence. I think the only workaround is doing your skill or your normal attack, triggering Resurgence, then doing your ultimate, and then if you do KO somebody with your ultimate again, I believe that you might be able to do Resurgence again. But overall, for a quick overview of Seele, very incredible character, and I'm sure anyone would appreciate her on their account just because of how good she is when it comes to dealing with enemies. Of course though, because you have a character like her and she is very selfish with skill points and just overall is a selfish DPS character that mainly just supports herself rather than the team, you will want to center a team around her when building a team comp with her included. Additionally, if you are enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button and let's carry on. One of the characters on the banner is Natasha. Natasha is a pretty good healer. We do also get her for free, which is really nice. My only thing is with Natasha though, even though I think she's a great healer, I don't really think we need Eidolons on her, to be honest. I think they're fine to get, like if you end up getting them, completely fine, but I personally wouldn't say to shoot for Eidolons for Natasha on the banner unless you really like Natasha. Not to say her Eidolons are bad, they definitely add additional healing, which can be very beneficial, but in the grand scheme of things, I just feel like it's not necessarily worth it to only go for, I guess, the banner if you just want a Natasha Eidolons, unless you really like her. But once again, we do get Natasha for free, so that's just a character you can get additional Eidolons on if you were to summon on this banner. I don't really have much to say other than that regarding Natasha, but of course, if you do get the Eidolons, cool. If not, then it kind of is whatever on that case. Next up, we have Pela. I think Pela is actually pretty good and can possibly work as a pretty good partner with Seele. Pela is a character that is a debuffer slash a sub DPS, and what she's able to do is pretty unique so far to herself. What Pela is able to do is she's able to lower the defenses of enemies. The reason why this is super good is because Seele can definitely take advantage of this. If Seele is possibly struggling to defeat an enemy, or Pela is able to go and then lower the defenses of the main boss in the middle, Seele will have a better time dealing with that boss and be able to just do more damage overall. And any of your characters really can definitely benefit from Pela being on the team. Pela is really good for lowering defenses, as I've stated. She can also remove buffs from enemies if possible, and she's also an ice character, so she'll be doing her own ice damage as well. And of course, I'm not sure how many of you guys know, but let's just say you broke a toughness meter with Pela. Now the enemy would be frozen, but of course if you broke the toughness meter with Seele, then they would receive the quantum effect from weakness break. But overall, I think Pela is pretty good. Pela is able to restore energy when she debuffs enemies, which will allow her to basically get her ultimate quicker, where she does damage to all enemies, and she also has a 100% chance to basically lower that defense, as I've stated, for multiple turns. So overall, Pela is pretty good, really good debuffer, and I would highly recommend at least trying to grab at least one Pela. Now we have Hook. Hook is a character I'm kind of iffy on. I feel like Hook doesn't really offer as much as the other characters on the banner offer, and I don't really think Hook and Seele are necessarily a combo. Hook is pretty good when it comes to DOT though, since Hook is able to inflict DOT. So maybe Hook can work on a team more so with like Kafka and Sampo. However, Hook's main thing is able to do damage to enemies as well as burning them with 100% base chance. She has a lot of DOT with her burns. When she uses her ultimate, her next skill will be enhanced, which deals damage to a single enemy and the enemies adjacent to that enemy. So that's pretty good as well. And Hook's talent allows her to basically regenerate energy when attacking a target inflicted with burn. So basically Hook's whole thing is to burn enemies, and then with her ultimate, she's able to have an enhanced attack with her for her skill against enemies, and then also if they're burned and she attacks them, she also gets back energy. So that is pretty good in the case of her being able to get her ultimate fast, being able to do her enhanced skills, and so on. But I personally don't really know if I would recommend Hook with Seele, as I've stated. You can use her, I just don't personally see how it might, I guess, combine well, I suppose, since I feel like Hook definitely wants to use her skill just based off her kit. And I personally feel like a character that might pair better that's a fire character could be Fire MC instead, since Fire MC is more used to, or rather Fire MC would prefer to use them normal attacks rather than skill, since Seele is going to be the one who wants to use her skill majority of the time. So I personally wouldn't try to put too many characters on a team that would want to use their skill. I think Natasha and Pela can definitely work, and then you can have another character which could be either a buffer, another DPS, whatever you feel is comfortable for you, and I think that'll be good. But overall, just based on the banner, I do think all the characters on the banner have their uses. I would say priority wise, of course, Seele's at the top. Then I'd say Pela, then Natasha, and then Hook. Natasha's only third because the fact that we do get her for free, unless you want the add-ons. But that's personally how I'd rate the priority of which characters you would want on the banner. And personally, I would rate this banner probably a B+. I think this banner is really good. Seele is an incredible character. She's definitely a selling point of the banner. I think Pela is really, really good, especially if any free-to-play can grab their hands on one Pela. That'll be really good because now you have a really good debuffer to take advantage of on your team comps. Natasha's good, but we already get her for free, but extra add-ons is never a bad thing if you do end up getting it. And Hook is not too bad. Hook's really cute, so if you do like Hook, I would still go for it. But I don't think that Hook necessarily synergizes with Seele too well, at least in my personal opinion. But I think Hook can probably be good for a DOT advantage or a DOT user like Kafka, maybe Sample, like that combination. I feel like Hook can possibly shine there with that team comp rather than a Seele team comp. But overall, once again, I'd rate the banner a B+. If you are interested in the banner, I would fully say to go for it. I will be releasing a, I guess, should you pull for Seele video this week as well once I get my hands on her so I can test her in-game, provide you guys like my gameplay, and also just show you guys my version and just what I personally think of her regarding whether or not you should go for her. I hope all of you enjoyed this quick little video though. I just realized this video was not that quick. I'm sorry that it was not that quick. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure to hit subscribe on because I'll be releasing a lot of Star Rail guides this week. I hope you all have a nice one. Peace.